Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Why We Disney podcast. Thank you so much once again for joining us on this magical Wednesday. We have a fantastic episode for you today and a special guest. We're going to be talking about Disney's California Adventure, a section in that park, and I am so excited to get started. So we hope you're excited. We hope you're ready. Let's go ahead and jump into today's episode.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another Why We Disney Wednesday. I am Kara, and I'm brought to you by my co-host, Kaycee.
Hello, hello.
And kind of more importantly, we do have a very special guest. We have the darling of Disney herself. Ashley's with us today.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
So we've had you on the podcast before to talk other things Disneyland related. And can you just remind our listeners where they can find you?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Darling of Disney. Yeah, that's it right now.
And I want to point out too that we have not had any guests on the podcast that have been returning guests, right? So you are our first returning guest to the podcast. So thank you.
Yay. Thank you guys.
Now, for our listeners, today we are going to be talking about that very special land of Pixar Pier. And so Ashley's going to kind of give us some tips and tricks on that. But for our older audience, our more mature audience, I do want to point out that Ashley is very well known in another part of Disney. And can you just talk about that for a second too?
Are we talking about all the drinks?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I love Disney drinks. I'm very passionate about them. And so I do love DCA because you can drink in that park, whereas Disneyland, you can't really drink there. And Pixar Pier is definitely one of my favorite places to just sit down and have a drink. So I'm so excited to be part of this episode.
And DCA is officially legal. They are 21 years old now. So happy birthday to DCA with that. But again, we are talking about a specific part, not Cars Land, not the new Avengers campus. We are talking about the good old faithful Pixar Pier. Now, for our little Disney newbies, this is located in that Disney California Adventure part. But we need to kind of start at the beginning. So I had to do my research on this, y'all. It was a little difficult to figure out, but bear with me here. So at first, it was called Paradise Pier, along with the beginning of DCA, and we will be referring to Disney California Adventure as DCA, right? Then in 2018, it actually split into the two sections that we know it as, which is Pixar Pier and then Paradise Garden Park, which I think most of us kind of wrap just into one. And then officially on June 23rd of good old 2018, the official Pixar Pier debuted as we know it is today. So if you go on your little Disneyland app and you go and find Pixar Pier, you can see all the magic that we are about to talk about. And if you don't know, we're recording this the day after I got home from Disneyland. So I'm so excited to share all of my magic and get some more tips from Ashley for all of you guys. But Kaycee, you want to kind of start with what they can find there?
Absolutely. I want to do that. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that you just got back from Disneyland, because Kara and I have not got a chance to actually talk through her trip yet. So I am so excited just to hear, kind of your thoughts on everything. Ashley, you're obviously a very seasoned Disneyland DCA, very seasoned, but I am super excited. We talk about Disneyland on the podcast and we love to talk about it, but at the same time, Kara and I had never been. So we're kind of just doing our research and we're treading in waters that we're not familiar with. But it's a new insight and I'm so glad to have it. So, but yes, let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's talk about what you can find in Pixar Pier. Okay. So let's talk about some attractions first, things you could do, entertainment, right? So we're going to talk about first the Games of Pixar Pier. So this opened in 2001 as the Games of Paradise Pier, and then it was rethemed in 2018. So from what I learned on the Google this is basically your common basic carnival games, right? Like the water gun racing game, and then you have a couple of different bag tosses and things like that. Am I right to assume that that's kind of what that's like, this section?
Yeah, so you have the bag tosses, the water thing, and then They actually have one where everyone's a winner, which is like a fun thing. Yeah.
Wow.
You don't have to beat anyone or anything. So there's one that you can just like play it and you automatically get a prize. So
You're a winner.
yeah.
I feel like I would do that one like over and over and over again. And so after doing a little research, this section of Pixar Pier, right? You do have to pay extra to play these games, just like you would if you were at a carnival. So from what I read, I don't know how old this article was. I want to say it was like 2019, 2020, but the games per person are about $4 per person per game. I mean, I know that like a ton of prices have went up recently, but is that about what it is now?
I want to say so. I think it's like $4 or $5 because I
Okay.
think you can usually load like $20 onto a card and then you can
Okay.
play a few times with that. So
That's cool. That's cool. Kara, did you do any of these games when you were?
No, we had many things on the agenda. So I figured that they were like just normal theme park games. So we kind of skipped over this section.
For sure, for sure. And so prizes for these games would typically be like your character plushes, which are really fun. I love character plushes. I'm all here for that. So next up, we have the Increda Coaster, which I mean, I think that would be like the highlight of this section of DCA for me. But this opened in 2001 as California Screamin', and it was rethemed in 2018. So this is all based off the Incredibles 2 movie. So you kind of get to see like all of Jack's powers, which, by the way, can I just stop for a second and say, how did this boy inherit so many superpowers when everyone else just has one? Like, no thoughts on this, guys? How?
I don't know. I think it's just like a funny part of the movie because Jack's so little and he has
Yes.
the most.
So clueless.
It's the comedic factor of it.
Yes. Yes. So fun. So fun. So this roller coaster actually reaches up to 55 miles per hour, which is pretty quick. And it's also the 8th longest roller coaster in the world. If there's one thing that I can complain about with Disney in general is like your rides are too short. Like you wait 45 minutes to an hour for less than a 30-second ride sometimes. So I can appreciate that this is the 8th longest roller coaster in Pixar Pier or in the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Ashley, do we love this roller coaster? Is it like a must do for you?
oh yes, it's always a must do. It's so fun. And like I loved California Screamin' and I was like, I don't want it to change. Like I was very against them changing Paradise
Yeah.
Pier to Pixar Pier, but I think they did a really great job with the Incredi Coaster, especially at night because it all like lights up and everything. It's perfect.
For sure. Kara, did you ride it?
I wrote it. I love it. And I'm so glad that I watched The Incredibles 2 before I went. Because I had to like sit down and schedule time to watch that movie because I haven't watched it. I haven't seen it yet. And so I was like, oh, the whole Incredicoaster Coaster is based off of this. I have to watch it. And wow. And they have that comparison. This is going to be the first tease, but they have the comparison of the Incredicoaster Coaster or Rock and Roller Coaster. Right. And I prefer hands down Incredicoaster Coaster. Yeah. It's super cute. Disneyland.
Sure. I think I would too. Like I love Rock and Roller Coaster, but when I've rode Increda Coaster virtually, because you can do that on YouTube. FYI, you can do that on YouTube. I did this. So basically I rode it, sort of. Anyway, yeah, so when I rode it, I was like, oh wow, this could be a really cool ride in person. So I'm for it. And I do have one quick question before we move on. So what's the typical wait for Incredi Coaster on like a Saturday, like a generally busy Saturday?
Honestly, the wait for Incredi Coaster, I feel like there's times that it gets up to like 90 minutes, but I would say most days I feel like it sits at around like half an hour. Like it's not terrible wait time. So
that's fair.
Looking at my Instagram highlight to see if I posted it because I tried to with all the rides. I want to say it was a 45-minute wait. I didn't post it, but I think I remember it was like a 45-minute wait, but we used Lightning Lane. Like 7.
Yeah.
Wow. That's fair. That's fair. All right, guys, we could talk about Increda Coaster forever, but moving on. So the next one up, we have Jessie's Critter Carousel. So this opened in 2001 as King Triton's Carousel of the Sea, but it was rethemed in 2019. So Ashley, do you prefer it either way?
I don't know. It's even when it was King Triton's, I didn't ride it that much.
Right. It's just like a normal carousel, right?
Yeah, it's literally a normal carousel, but like this one just has like Toy Story creatures on it.
Can I put out a fun fact that I learned? And I feel like I learned this on Provost, or however you say it, Park Pass, that YouTube channel. But there is an actual difference between carousel and merry-go-round. And now I'm going to confuse them, but one of them goes clockwise and the other one goes counterclockwise. Never. Took me 27 years of life to realize this, but I'll have to like look it up when we're done. But yeah, if it's a carousel, it will always go in one direction, and a merry-go-round goes the other. Fun fact.
What? I was today years old.
Same.
I never knew that. Okay, fun fact of the day. That one might win the day. There's going to be a lot of fun facts in this episode, but that one might win it for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our next one. This is the Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind. So this was rethemed in 2019 as well. Gosh, a lot of rethemed attractions in DCA. Good Lord. Okay, so this is based on the popular Pixar film Inside Out. We know it. We love it. It's such a cute little film. And this attraction is kind of like a spinner ride. And I was trying to think of something that I could compare this to in Disney World, but literally the only thing I could think of is like maybe Dumbo in like a not so much way, or like Magic Carpets of Aladdin, maybe.
Yeah, it's like the speed of that ride, you know, like it's pretty slow. It doesn't do too much.
Yes. Did you ride this one, Kara, or was this like a?
This was actually down for refurbishment.
Oh.
But I just wanted to point out that if you're from like the Northeastern and you go to Hershey Park, which is, I grew up 20 minutes from Hershey Park, we have a ride called Tilt-A-Whirl, which is that exact ride.
Yeah.
So I did want to go on it because I love sadness and I love Inside Out, but it's a ride a type of ride that I've been on before.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. I really like these. And of course, I virtually rode it on the YouTube. Did it again. You see that?
Another kind of cool thing about the Emotional Whirlwind is it's actually a ride from old Bugs Land. When they turned Bugs Land into Avengers Campus, they literally like plucked that ride, put it into Pixar Pier, and then changed like the boxes and everything that you sit in.
I thought Bugs Land was in Disneyland.
No, it was where Avengers Campus.
Exactly. That Avengers Campus replaced that. I remember.
Oh no! Now I'm so confused. Okay.
Oh no! We've went off the rails, guys. Okay, so let's. I'm sure that's a super cool little ride. I'm sure it's good for like younger kids to jump on. Apparently, right now it's down for refurbishment, but that's a really cool one, I think. And I love Inside Out, so I'm here for it. Okay, so let's talk about this Pixar Pal Around. Okay, and I just want to say, up until like a few weeks ago, I thought this was just a regular Ferris wheel. Nope. Definitely not. Okay, so this opened in 2001 as the Sun Wheel, and then it was rethemed in 2009 as Mickey's Fun Wheel, and then it was rethemed again in 2018. Bless this ride's heart. It has been rethemed so many times, but this is the beautiful Ferris wheel looking ride with the Mickey in the center that just takes gorgeous pictures behind it. Kara, you had to get some good pictures behind this one, or in front of this one.
I did. And I specifically made one of those like collections in Instagram. I was like going to Ashley's profile and a couple other people's like from the other Ashleys and like saving the pictures I had to take. So when we got to the locations, I was like, this X marks the spot. This is where they took that picture. So I'm so glad. But yes, it's beautiful at day and at night.
Mm-hmm.
That night as well. Wow. So y'all, this is super cool. It's an attraction that stands 160 feet tall, and actually 10 of those feet are underwater, which is pretty freaking cool. Okay. There's 24 cars total, or gondolas, right? And 16 of those are swinging, and the other 8 are non-swinging. And y'all best believe I'm gonna be in the non-swinging line. Okay, now I have to know. Ashley, is this a must do for you? Do you do swinging? Do you do non-swinging?
I try not to go on it.
Period.
It's one of Cody's favorite rides, and I tell him, I'm like, twice a year I'll go on it with you. Like, you get 2 times a year, and I will go with you for that.
Oh my gosh. Now is Cody, he does the swinging side, or he just likes the...
He likes the swinging. I'm not a fan. It's stressful. It's too stressful.
I feel like you either love this or you absolutely hate this.
Yeah, basically.
Kara, did you ride it?
I did, and for sure we went on the non-swinging side, because I wasn't trying to go into a ride with a literal motion sickness bag. Heck no. There's no way. But we had a great time going in the gondolas and like just riding to the top and seeing everything. And it's such a beautiful view if you don't mind heights. If you do mind heights, that's a different story, but it is a great ride.
That is cool. That is cool. And so the reason why we're talking about this is because you probably, if you are traveling to Pixar Pier anytime soon and you are prone to motion sickness, beware the swinging side on this attraction. It might get you. So be careful. Make good decisions out there, people. Make good decisions. Okay. And the last one that we're going to talk about in my little section here is the Toy Story Midway Mania. This opened in May of 2008. No, 2008. And so this is actually, and I want to make sure that I'm right on this. Is this like almost the same exact ride from Disney World? Okay.
Yeah, it's like the exact same.
Yes, like the same like screens and everything, like none of that is different.
Yeah. The line in Disney World, like the queue for Toy Story Mania in Disney World is way better though. Like it's so cute in Disney World. This one is like, it's pretty much all outdoors, but then the ride itself is basically the same. So
yeah. I do really like the queue in the one in Hollywood Studios in Disney World. But it's interesting. So they actually were building these at the exact same time. So it's interesting that they would be, the queues itself would be so different. But fun fact, they were building them at the same time.
I'm glad that we're bringing up queues, and this was a real big discussion with the 3 of us that went, because we were talking about these queues the whole time, and that is a huge part of the Disney World experience, right? Yeah. And Brandon brought it to our attention. It was on one of those, the Imagineering story behind the attractions, one of the Disney Plus things, that when they were building Disneyland and DCA, they didn't think about queues because it doesn't really rain there. So all the queues are for the most part outside. There are no inside queues that you go on. So Disney World in hurricane season, right, that rains almost every day, that's why they have so many inside queues. And I never put 2 and 2 together until Brandon brought that up, and because we were looking for the Toy Story Mania queue, and there is a small one, but it's nothing like the Disney World one. And so when we were in all these outside queues and I was burning from the sun, I was like, wow, where's my indoor AC?
That's so funny. Was it hot, Kara, when you were there? Like, was it super hot?
Well, I burn easy, so it's hard for me to say hot, but it was really hot on our DCA day. For some reason, it just got up in the 80s, something around the 80s. But
I was gonna say, you guys came like right as the heat wave was starting, because it's like 90 degrees here right now, and you like were kind of like right at the start of it going up. So yeah.
So that's really cool. So one other last fun fact about this particular attraction is the Mr. Potato Head animatronic. When you're going through the queue, I know it's in the queue for Walt Disney World. Is it in the queue for Disneyland, DCA?
It's
the
like
Mr. Potato Head.
Ride.
Do what?
It's like right outside of the ride.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was one of the first animatronics whose mouth could actually move with vowels and consonants, which I think is so cool. And I always think that Mr. Potato Head is talking directly to me. Like, I swear he is. Like, I swear there's like a person inside of it, like talking to me. I swear, because it's so realistic. It is so cool. Fun fact, guys. All right, well, so there's not just attractions, obviously, in Pixar Pier. We have some really cool restaurants as well. And I want Ashley to talk us through some restaurants and tell us where we should go. What's the good stuff? What's the not so good stuff?
Okay, so I'll start with the not so good, or stuff that I feel like you can kind of skip over or get like other places, like they have like the popcorn at Pixar Pier. Again, we love Disneyland popcorn, but it's like you can kind of get it anywhere.
Yes.
And so it's just normal popcorn. And then Senior Buzz churros, actually. Like, one, Disneyland churros are amazing, but two, for some reason, the Senior Buzz ones, I swear they're better than anywhere else in California Adventure.
Really?
I don't know what it is. Like, even just like their normal churros, but then they also have like a spicy churro too over there. Yeah. I've never tried that one, so I'm not sure on that one.
Interesting.
Yeah. And then they have Poultry Palace, which is where you can get like turkey legs, corn on the cob, and then I think you get like a little chicken basket or something. I have heard that the chicken basket's like good to share with, like, if like you have like a little family there. It's like a nice snack, but I've never eaten at that one, so I can't speak too much to it. And then
I'm starving right now, so this is hard for me.
And then there's Angry Dogs, which is like based on anger from Inside Out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's like a hot dog stand, and then you have like an angry dog and a slightly annoyed dog. So like one is like spicy and one's not super spicy.
Oh, that's cute.
And that's one place that you can just grab like a beer too on the pier, because there's not a lot of places that you can just kind of like walk up and like grab a beer type of thing over there, but that's one of them. And then you have Jack Cookie Num Nums, of course.
Love it.
Yes.
Love those.
So you can get a Cookie Num Num.
And
then, they have. Oh, sorry.
I was going to say this one, for some reason, and maybe I just got a bad one at Disney World, but that one was better at Disneyland. And I just think, like, placement sells. And so after you're getting off of the ride of Increda Coaster, and the stand is right there.
Mm-hmm.
So like, of course I'm gonna get one.
Yeah. And then it's like when you're on Incredi Coaster, you can smell the cookies when you're like going down the big drop. So then you're like, well, now I want a cookie.
They knew that. Like, the marketing people were like, let's put this right here, because I know that when they come off, this is where they're going to stop every time. Smart people they are. Wow.
Yeah. And then they also do have an Incredi Cookie, which is a gluten-free cookie for anyone with like allergies. And it's actually super good. It's like a shortbread cookie, and then it has like boysenberry jam in it or something. Really good. So if you can't have gluten, it's a great option.
And it sounds like even if you can have gluten, it's still a great option. Wow.
Yeah, it really is. I like their cookies. And then there's Adorable Snowman Frosted Treats, which has one of my favorite frozen treats in the parks.
Alcohol or no?
No alcohol.
Oh, okay.
Well, now they have alcohol there, but it's like a Pixar Pier parfait, and so it's lemon soft serve and then like a blue raspberry icy like layered in the middle of it. It's so good. It looks weird. It doesn't sound like it would be good, but it's delicious.
I feel like I need to look up a picture of this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sounds nice.
Yeah, so that one is really great. And then they just did start selling alcohol there, so you can get like your like lemon soft serve with like blue curacao, and then they have like a mango soft serve that I can't remember what they put in that one, but yeah, so that one like you can spike your ice cream if you really want to. Which I kind of like, they understood.
No, that's for the comparison over in Epcot, they have the ice cream martini over in the France pavilion. So similar comparisons there.
Oh, that ice cream martini looks so good.
It is good. It's very filling and very strong, but it's very good.
Love it.
And what else do they have, Ashley?
And then finally, there's Lamplight Lounge, which is like my second home in California Adventure. So they have an upstairs and downstairs section. Upstairs, you can get just like the small bites menu, and then downstairs they have like a full menu, and you can get the donuts down there, which are so good. But then they have open bars at both, and they have a pretty extensive menu, and yeah, most drinks on their menu are pretty good. So
I am so happy that so many people, you, Amanda, Sydney, all of our Disneyland friends would always tell us about Lamplight Lounge and how it was the go-to spot. And so I did get a dinner reservation there, and we're so happy we went. At this point, we were exhausted. Like it was like, yay, we're going to Lamplight Lounge. Like we were so tired, but it was such a cool experience. And I was happy with the service. I got the lobster nachos. Brandon and I shared them actually, and they were really good. I think my mom got some type of burger. I'll have to post that all here for the listeners and talk about the experience. But I do like it. It reminds me of like you walk down to a local pub.
Yeah.
Something like that. And I was like, yep, this is DCA-esque.
Yeah. And then they do have a separate room, which I was like lucky enough to get to eat in one day. So it's like all the way in the back, and there's like this little secret entrance, and it has its own like balcony that you can like watch the Incredi Coaster from. And it's just like a private room that you get. And so that's also just like a really cool like hidden thing that they have in there. So
I need to tell this story because the listeners know that I give it to them real, right? I did not have the best experience with Disneyland DCA cast members. Some of them were
really
like a little, I don't know. I don't want to say like West Coasty, but like California-y. And I was just like, that's so sassy. Like, because we were just walking out, like we didn't even want to eat there, but I knew about the room and I just wanted to see it. Like I wanted to see the view from the balcony. And so I went over to one of the servers and I was like, hey, like we're not eating here, but can we see the secret room really quick? And she literally laughed in my face. And she was like, ha ha ha, it's secret for a reason. And walked away.
Oh God.
That was so rude. She literally laughed in my face. And I was like, we gotta go. Because I was just like, okay, like if it has to be a secret party or something, blah, blah, blah. But like, I don't know. The way she approached it, I was just trying to see the view. My apologies.
Yeah. Oh,
but
no.
yeah, there is the secret room.
Yeah, I will say, I don't know who it is. There is one cast member that works at Lamplight that she has given us problems multiple times. So I get that.
Guarantee you it's the same girl.
Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if it was. So.
Wow.
And like, I was trying to be nice. And at first I thought she was joking.
Oh, God.
I would have thought she was joking. Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Like she literally just started laughing.
Oh God.
And walked away.
I was like, oh my God. And then I was mad. Like I wanted to talk to a manager. I was like mad, but my mom and Brandon are not confrontational. So I was like, let me stop. And we just walked out because it was the end of the night anyway. And but it was great. I do still suggest going. It was just that one cast member that made me had a weird experience, but
yeah,
for sure.
That's all the restaurants, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So listen, you can't go to DCA, you can't go to Disneyland without experiencing some shops, right? We got to get our merchandise. We got to get our souvenirs. And let's talk about where we can go to do that. So one of the first ones on my list here, which I only have 3 here. Is there only 3 like merch places? Wow.
Mhm.
I figured there'd be more with such a big area. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's only the 3. It's kind of sad, but
It is kind of sad.
yeah.
Well, for you newbies, make sure that you stop into these 3 places because actually I think that they could be really cool. And I also walked through them virtually through the YouTube. Man, YouTube should sponsor this episode because I'm giving them all kinds of fun, aren't I? Okay, so the very first one is Bing Bong's Sweet Stuff, which I thought was really cute. So a lot of sweet treats and some really fun like toys and merchandise and things. I love Monsters Inc. I think it's just one of the cutest movies ever. And I don't feel like that Disney World even has a ton of Monsters Inc. stuff. And when I went through this little shop virtually via the YouTube, I did see some Monsters Inc. like t-shirts and toys and things. So that's really fun. You got to walk through these shops.
Do you mean Inside Out?
No, Monsters Inc.
Bing Bong's from Inside Out.
But Monsters Inc. is in the store. Bing Bong is the guy who goes down the hill, right? It's like her imaginary friend.
Yeah.
Yes, but okay, so I'm sorry. I should have prefaced this. So when I was going through it virtually today, I saw like a whole section of the shop. I'm sorry. No, I should have prefaced that. It's not Monsters Inc. themed by no means, but I just feel like we don't have a lot of Monsters Inc. stuff. And
you're right.
I thought I would give that a shout.
Referring
Sorry.
to like the shop because it's like there's that character of him on the outside of the shop, and I was like, people are gonna be walking around looking for Sully, and he's not there.
No. But this is a really cute shop, and obviously, like the outdoor area is just adorable too. I wrote it virtually, or I walked through it virtually. And next up, we have Knickknacks, which this is for all of your Pixar merch. I didn't get a chance to go through this one, but I think this is a bigger one, right? Am I right, Ashley?
It's actually kind of a similar size to Bing Bong's.
To Bing Bong's? Okay.
It doesn't have like the candy and all that sort of stuff in it.
Gotcha. When I was looking at the entrances to both of them, I was like, gosh, that building looks bigger, but yeah. Cool. And then last up, we have Midway Merchantile, which is all of your Toy Story themed toys and accessories and merchandise, which who doesn't love a good Toy Story t-shirt? Come on. You can't leave Pixar Pier and not grab some type of souvenir. So if you've never been, make sure you stop at these 3 places. Kara, I do want to hear from you before we go into our ad break. Did you stop into these 3 shops? Because I know you always like put aside time to go into shop around.
You know what? We did go into Bing Bong's. It was very short.
Yeah.
Because we try to save our shopping for like the end of the day. Yeah. And we knew we were going to stop into World of Disney later that night. So we were like, oh, let's just peek through. And then my mom like grabs the Bing Bong and she's like, let's buy this. And I'm like, no. But it's cute. They're all very like super sweet and adorable and themed, and it's just nice.
Mm-hmm. For sure. All right, guys, we are going to pause for just a second and take a quick ad break, but we'll be right back. We have some more for you, so stay tuned.
Hey everyone, and welcome back. Kaycee and Ashley, thank you so much for kind of breaking down everything to find in Pixar Pier. I do want to point out something else that you can find is one of these little pins. I have a show and tell for us all. It's the Pixar Pier pin. Now I think I actually got this in Disneyland, but it's Pixar Pier, so I had to show everyone, and I just thought it was really cute. So if you haven't yet, grab yourself a Pixar Pier pin in one of those cool shops. But Ashley, as our resident DCA queen, if you could enlighten us maybe on just some of your tips and tricks, like for just new and alike, like new people or maybe people that need to experience something new in the parks.
Yeah, so honestly, what I tell everyone who is going to DCA, like if you have like 2 days there or something, like my best suggestion is to rope drop Pixar Pier. because no one is there in the morning. Everyone tries to go to Cars Land or Web Slingers now. Like those are like the two popular places where everyone just like congregates right there. And so if you go to Pixar Pier like super early, like you just get there and go straight there, you can ride basically every ride on Pixar Pier in like an hour.
Wow.
So it's great. It's amazing. I love it. And also, I think like it's underrated to like pop into the Grand Californian from Pixar Pier. Like once you exit Pixar Pier and kind of like go around a little bit, there's like the entrance to the hotel. And I'm going there later tonight, but they have like such a beautiful lobby, such a beautiful fireplace that it's really relaxing to just sit around there. So if you are out all day, like burning in the sun, it's a good opportunity to kind of just pop in over there, and just like cool off for a little bit. And then like you can re-enter the park through the hotel. So it's not like you're going super far away or anything.
Cool.
I know I mentioned the La Luna game. That's the one where you always win. You get a free little star. Well, not free. You still have to like pay to play the game, but you still get your little star after that. I'm trying to think what else.
Do you have a must-get snack maybe? Or you talked about that frozen treat earlier, but
Yeah, the Pixar Pier Parfait is just so good, especially because Pixar Pier does not have a lot of shade. It is very hot in the summer, and that is like it's such a cold treat, and it's really refreshing because of the lemon. So it's not like it doesn't like weigh you down. Like it's not like a heavy treat. So like summertime, that is like peak treat to get. And then one other thing. Okay, World of Color isn't back, but it's coming, hopefully. I don't know. They keep saying World of Color is coming back, but a lot of
that is.
What?
Can you describe what World of Color is for people that don't know?
Yeah, so World of Color is like when you look at Pixar Pier, you see like the Increda Coaster and the Pixar Pal around, and there's like the huge body of water in front of it. And all through there, they just do like a water show where they like play scenes and music from like Disney movies and all that sort of stuff like on the water. And it's very beautiful. It's fun. And then they change it for like Christmas and that sort of stuff. But whenever that does come back, fingers crossed it's soon. It's actually a lot easier to watch from the actual pier instead of in front, because then you're not like fighting crowds to try and get into that front area, and you can get a pretty good view of the show just from back by Pixar Pal around actually.
Wow.
Or another option too for watching that. These are just like my favorite ways to watch shows. But whenever entertainment comes back, it'll be pertinent.
Good.
But you can actually get like the latest Lamplight reservation, and they let you stay down there, and like Lamplights right on the water, and so you can actually watch World of Color from Lamplight. So you can just like sit, enjoy your food and drinks, and just hang out and watch World of Color. So it's a great show. Like I miss it. It's been gone for too long. So
does it happen daily? Is that a daily show?
yes. When the parks, like, so right before COVID, it broke, like some glass panel broke or something. And so it's like been closed for even longer just because it was broken before COVID and they were trying to fix it. And then COVID happened and they just didn't work on it. And now here we are like 3 years later and it still hasn't come back.
Oh my gosh. And I have a question. So this was a nighttime spectacular, right? It wasn't like a show like throughout the day that they did every 2 hours or something like that. It was a nighttime thing.
Yeah, they usually have 2 showings at night, I think. At least like for summer, they would have 2 showings. Like they would have like one at like 9 o'clock or something and like one at 10:30 or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but they would have 2 like different ones you could go to. So
that's really cool. Now, I know for like in Disney World, obviously like Happily Ever After was the fireworks show, like pool, and everybody came to it. And now like it's Enchantment, obviously. And when the nighttime spectacular is happening, all of the rides are like walk-ons. So my question, I just have a quick question about the World of Color because I'm so interested in it. Is this one of the things that like pulls all of the crowds to Pixar Pier, or is it just a show, like a nighttime show?
It does pull pretty large
It does pull crowds. Wow.
Like, and especially since it's like in front of the water, usually like the whole pier behind is pretty calm. But they do stop Incredi Coaster and Pixar Pal around during the show because they actually use like the lights on Incredi Coaster and Pixar Pal around, like they incorporate it into the show. So they do close those temporarily while the show is going.
That's so unfortunate that that's not happening right now. Gosh, it sounds like a cool show.
It's a really cool show. Yeah. So like the pier is usually pretty empty, and then people like usually clear out of the park after World of Color. So yeah. Oh, and then like another random tip is for the upstairs dining for Lamplight, you can do walk-up reservations, which you like sometimes you get lucky and they'll like let you do a walk-up downstairs, but upstairs you can just check in on the app and it's usually like takes like 15-20 minutes and then you can go up there, so you still get like all the fun drinks, half of the fun food. Like,
and since we're talking about it, what are your Lamplight recommendations? What's your go-tos to get?
Oh gosh, okay, food wise, the potato skins, they're the best potatoes in Disney. I don't know, they're so good. And then I don't like lobster, so like I know everyone raves about the lobster nachos. I don't care for them because I don't like lobster, but they do steak nachos. They're not on the menu, but they'll make them for you. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, and so those are fantastic. And then food wise for brunch, because they do brunch Friday through Sunday. Their French toast is amazing, and then their brunch burger is really good too. And then drink wise, oh gosh. For brunch, obviously the mimosa flight because I love mimosas.
Obviously.
Yeah. And then the regular menu, so like anything off the secret menu is honestly pretty good. And so it's actually Cove Bar. So Cove Bar used to be Lamplight Lounge. Or yeah, it was when it was like Paradise Pier is called Cove Bar. And now it's Lamplight. And so if you just Google like Cove Bar secret menu, you can find their secret menu and you can order anything off of that still. And that's where like the fun wheel and like all those fun like blue green drinks that people post at Lamplight, they're mostly from the secret menu.
Got it.
And that's cool.
Yeah, and then off of their normal drink menu, Final with a Fix is my favorite one. It's like raspberry tequila and mezcal. It's like super sweet with like a little bit of smokiness to it. And then probably the Sunrise Spectacular. That one's like a very easy one to drink. Like I don't like bourbon. It has bourbon in it, but it also has a bunch of like tropical juices. So it covers up that flavor. And it's refreshing. It's a nice, easy drink. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. That is some really good tips. Stop. Like that's really good.
People are going to have a lot to write down in this episode. Let's get all Pixar Pier information.
So much.
I'll have to send you guys the secret menu and you can post it on your Instagram stories with it.
Yeah. Post a secret menu. Oh.
Yes. Done. Check.
Yes. I literally have it favorited on my phone so that like when I'm there, I'm like, which one do I want?
Oh God. Well, we all know that Lamplight is like super popular in Pixar Pier. Do you think that it's the most popular thing there? Do you think Increda Coaster, like what is pulling the crowd to Pixar Pier?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably the Increda Coaster or Midway Mania.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say those two are probably the biggest pull. Midway Mania usually has a much longer wait than Incredi Coaster. So
Okay.
that's one that's like good to like hit early in the morning because it'll be pretty empty, but throughout the day that one gets really long. So I think it's like those two rides that are kind of pulling most people over there. And then since Lamplight's kind of like right at the entrance to it, I feel like it never gets like super crowded feeling around it. But yeah.
Nice. Kaycee, do you have any other questions for Ashley?
Um, I Yes, I actually have one question. I'm sorry. So I'm all about like since character meet and greets in Disney World have like basically been non-existent. I have to know like what kind of character meet and greets or character sightings you would see in Pixar Pier.
Yeah, so they have, I'm trying to think right now. So they have like it's between like Bing Bongs and like the Pixar Pier games.
Yeah.
They have like this whole little, I don't know what it's called. Uh, it's like oval, round shaped. But they'll bring characters out onto like a little stage right there.
Okay.
Uh, and they actually used it during Oogie Boogie Bash too, to bring characters out onto. But they'll bring out like Bo Peep and like Woody and Buzz, and then they'll bring out like Joy and Sadness. They're so
Oh,
cute. I love when Sadness comes out.
she's my fave. Like I love her. And every time I see Joy, I'm like, where's Sadness? And
Yeah.
then she's like kind of makes her like motion, like moping around somewhere. Bless her heart.
Yeah, so they'll just pull different. Oh, and like I've seen like Sully over there as well. So
Oh,
Really?
mhm.
Oh, I've never met Sully. Dang.
I thought I had a picture of the title because it says it on that arc, but
Yeah.
I just have a picture of the little thing in the center that says Pixar Pier, not
Uh,
the actual arc.
Oh,
So, darn it. It's okay though. We'll figure it out.
I know I have a picture from Oogie Boogie Bash because that's where Sid was.
Ah,
And I was like trying to think, but I only have where it says Pixar Pier back too.
okay.
well, there's literally so many questions that we could just sit here and nitpick. But if you guys don't mind, I do have like a comment as a first timer at
Mhm.
Pixar Pier. The first comment is I was not expecting it to be that big because when you think pier, you think like a strip,
Mm.
right? So I was just expecting the strip, and it's really like a loop plus like some alcoves.
Yeah.
And we were like walking so much. We walked so much on our DCA day, but like I was not expecting that. So make sure you have good shoes on your Pixar Pier DCA times because wow. I also wanted to mention the Incredi Coaster all the way. Rock and roller coaster, Incredi Coaster, love it. And I do have one kind of like comment slash question for Ashley is when we were there, we were lucky enough to see Lunar New Year.
Oh,
We saw the parade with Mulan and Mushu, which was cool. We've never seen Mushu in Disney World, I don't think. But do you take that section now? I believe that section is the Paradise Garden Park or the two different sections over there. But do you include that as your Epcot? Like, are there other seasonal offerings or celebrations that happen at Pixar Pier?
yeah. So like I think they're bringing Food and Wine Festival back again. And so that like when you walk in, how you go down Buena Vista Street and then head towards like Avengers Campus and Pixar Pier, and there's like the one long walkway that extends all the way through. So for Food and Wine Festival, they put booths all along that whole thing. So like
Oh,
Lunar New Year was just over in that one section, just because it's one of their smaller festivals, but like Food and Wine and then Festival of Holidays, they like kind of extend throughout that entire walkway.
okay.
And then they do oh, I'm trying to think of the right word for it. It's not coming to my mind. But around Halloween, the section that's like in the back, over by like Paradise Gardens and that sort of stuff, that was all like Lunar New Year. They
Mhm.
make it like all Coco themed for Halloween, and it's really cute. So like they do change the theming of that area out a lot just based on like whatever festival they have going on. So it's kind of in a way like Epcot, like a little baby Epcot.
A
Yeah.
baby Epcot.
Like take like a tenth of Epcot and like sprinkle it over there. And I feel like that's it.
Well, I did just, appreciate like Lunar New Year is a big thing over there, and we don't have that at Walt Disney World. And, we're all about celebrating culture and like just learning and diversifying this community. So I just really appreciated how they brought that to life and brought out those characters and the very authentic, the dances and the women and the dresses. It was great. Loved it.
Yeah. And like, I think when you were there, they have the Super Bowl stage set up.
Yep.
Yeah. So like for Festival of Holidays, they have usually just like a normal stage set up, and they actually bring in like dancers from like different like cultures and religions and that sort of stuff. Like I got to like catch the whole Diwali show like for Festival of Holidays, and so Disney like outsources to bring in like authentic experiences from different cultures for those like festivals and everything. So it's really cool.
Disney for the win.
Yeah.
Honestly, though, Disney for the win.
Gosh. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I love Pixar Pier. Absolutely, just like aesthetically pleasing, like film and ride pleasing and food pleasing, and everything's pleasing. So next time you head over to DCA, make sure to hit up Pixar Pier. We want to thank you, Ashley, so much for joining us and giving us your thoughts and opinions and expertise. And we just want to say thank you again.
Oh, thank you guys so much for having me.
Of course. And just one more time so the listeners know and can go follow you, because your content is chef's kiss. Can you tell them where to find you?
Yes, you can find me at Darling of Disney. If you ever need a drink recipe, you will find all of them there. So
and actually, thank you again. I just want to echo this really quick, is that your account is one of my favorite accounts to follow on Instagram. And so I just want to echo, what Kara said and what you said about like anything you need, like I guarantee you it's on my page somewhere. And if not, let me know and I'll make sure to make it happen. But Ashley, again, thank you so much. And for our listeners, guys, don't forget, make sure you follow us on all of our social media. We have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have our YouTube channel. You can join our Patreon for a bunch of exclusives on the podcast and our team as a whole. We love you guys so much. Thank you for joining us once again for another episode of the Why We Disney podcast. Happy Wednesday. We hope you all have an awesome day, but that's all for now.
Okay, bye.
bye.